mean, this is rough mountain terrain.
This fire's been unique because of the location.
When fires come, they come hard.
The fire still has pretty extreme behavior.
All of our pictures, our belongings, like everything is gone.
This is it. This is my retirement. This is home.
Good morning. Good to have you with us. I'm Maddie Jansen.
And I'm Alex Fisher. This morning, the Stagecoach fire continues its reign of terror as it quickly burns through the mountains east of Bakersfield.
The threat of the fire is not over this morning. Firefighters continuing to fight to save homes and lives. Here's a look at just some of the intense images of the flames from the front lines. Right. Firefighters are unleashing a brutal attack on this fire, but it seems Mother Nature still has the upper hand.
And the fire is burning in our mountain region, cradled between Lake Isabella and Tehachapi. It is a rural area, but many people live there. And this morning, they're wondering if their homes still stand. Here's a look at your Friday morning headlines. The fire has grown to more than 7,000 acres. That's about 11 square miles. It is only 15% contained. More than 770 firefighters are on the front lines. 13 homes have been destroyed.
This morning we have team coverage. Our morning forecaster Kevin Charette is tracking conditions. 17's Karen Waugh has been in the mountains covering this fire since the beginning. We'll check in with her in just a bit. But we begin this morning with 17's Taylor Shaw. He's joining us live from the fire this morning with the latest. Taylor?
Well, good morning, Maddie. Favorable conditions right now for firefighters and favorable conditions overnight for firefighters, which is a good sign. Right now, it's pretty cold. We're off Caliente Bodfish Road here, and it is about 50 to 55 degrees, not too windy. You can definitely smell the smoke coming from right behind me. And as you can see right here, the fire came through a day ago, about a day or two ago, and just ravished this area right here, completely scorched right next to me. As we've mentioned, now 7,000 acres have been destroyed by this fire. As we take a look at some video of how this fire has burned through this area, right now nearly 800 firefighters are working around the clock to douse the flames. They're unleashing an assault from both the ground and sky. But as of this morning, as you guys mentioned, Mother Nature still winning. The fire only 15% contained. 13 homes have burned.
We understand that people want to be with their home, their belongings, where they're comfortable, but we're worried about their health. We're worried about their safety, their life. And so the decision is not made lightly, and the decision as to when we can repopulate those areas, that's not made lightly either.
Well, new evacuation orders were put into place yesterday afternoon, and the previous evacuation orders are still in place. The Red Cross has an emergency shelter down in Tehachapi at the old Kmart parking lot for homeowners who are still trying to watch their homes. Firefighters are asking you, please don't. Please evacuate. And one final note, and this is huge for this fire. Firefighters have struggled to communicate working in these mountain regions. It's very remote here, and it's very hard to get cell phone service. We were driving through the mountains early this morning, and I'm telling you, Maddie and Alex, there's only a couple spots where you get 1 bar of service. Where we are right now, thankfully, we have 2 bars, and that's the only way that we're able to come live to you. But as you can imagine, it's very difficult to get out information for this fire and also communicate. Luckily, they have radios, but cell phone service is just not a thing here. Reporting live, Taylor Schaub, 17 News.
All right, and Kevin has been tracking conditions. Good to hear that cooler temperatures and those winds slowing down are helping firefighters.
Yeah, overnight it was good news for firefighters in terms of conditions, weather conditions, lighter winds, cooler temperatures. And again, this fire is only 15% contained. We talked about the acreage right now sitting at 7,000 acres. And you can see kind of where this fire area is between Havilah and Walker Basin. Now, I want to talk about the weather in general, and the winds are very light right now. The arrows that you're seeing here are not wind speed, they're wind direction. So we are still seeing those winds, light winds out of the north and also out of the east. So we are going to track those winds today, but the good news is they're light right now. We take a look at the temperature, 58 degrees. Good recovery overnight for firefighters. Our dew point at 46. Our humidity is also up 64%, and there's that south wind at 8 miles per hour. Here's a look at the forecast for today. Hazy skies will continue. It'll be warm. Today's high right around 84 degrees. Our relative humidity between 25 and 35%. And our winds will be out of the west-southwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. I'll have much more on our local forecast. That's coming your way in a few minutes.
All right, thank you so much, Kevin. And as Taylor mentioned, there are new evacuations to tell you about. Kern County Fire updated evacuation orders for anyone living in these areas along Paiute Mountain Road and Saddle Springs Road. This is on top of the evacuation notices that were given earlier this week. They include the area north of Walker Basin and east of Caliente Bodfish Roads. And if you've been affected by this fire and need help, call the American Red Cross. Volunteers are helping people find a place to stay if they evacuate. Again, that number is 1-800-RED-CROSS. You can find all evacuation information on our website, kget.com.
And here's the reason why firefighters are asking people to leave their homes. Take a look at this dramatic video, and it shows the flames devouring a property from the Stagecoach fire. This is home surveillance video shared with us by Robert Higgins, who says his vacation cabin in Caliente went up in flames Wednesday night. You can see the fire surrounding the porch before the camera goes dark. This is just one of the 13 homes destroyed by the Stagecoach fire. And our team coverage continues now this morning with 17's Karen Waugh. She's been with firefighters throughout the week as they battle this grueling fire. But she joins us now with a story that sparks hope.
Over the past week, the Stagecoach fire has exploded in size, moving from one side of the mountains to the other.
I've been all over the world in the military and a lot of the states, and I'm 55, and this is my favorite place that I've been. I like the community.
Ron Lefevre and his family moved to Walker Basin 17 years ago. They built everything from the ground up. The house, deck, pool, suspension bridge, barn.
Down there in the barn, we have 2 alpacas, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Lady Gaga.
His family, consisting of 2 alpacas, 2 chickens, 2 dogs, and 2 cats. Each year, he's used to wildfire threats. But he soon saw the Stagecoach fire creeping too close for comfort.
We haven't had anything this close, for sure.
And then firefighters showed up, recommending he evacuate.
I just hoped.
So he fled, forced to even leave behind most of his animals, not knowing if he'd see any of this ever again.
It really didn't get emotional until I got to downtown, until I got to the hotel.
But then a spark of hope. Kern County firefighters personally called him, telling him his home was safe.
The 3 firefighters that defended my house were professional, calm, which calmed me.
As for his neighbors, homeowners who weren't as fortunate,
we're going to take care of them. That's what we do up here. Food, we'll get them some food. We'll get them as much money as we can possibly all spare, and clothes, and they'll rebuild. We'll be all right.
From the ashes, they'll rise again.
The community, my neighbors, the peace, quiet.
In Walker Basin,
the Saturday barbecues.
Karen Waugh, 17 News.
And we continue to work and bring you the latest information on the Stagecoach fire. You can head to our website, kget.com, for the latest on this blaze. And we also have the resources that we've been talking about this morning for people who are affected by this fire. You can find all of that on our website, kget.com.
Meantime, our firefighters were also busy with another new blaze. The Fort fire broke out along the west side of southbound I-5 near the Grapevine Road yesterday. 250 acres burned with 50% containment, according to CAL FIRE. At one point, the fire was affecting traffic, and CHP had to close some of the lanes, but those are back open this morning. Further down the I-5, another fire broke out in Santa Clarita. The so-called Texas fire is burning in the Saugus area. According to the LA County Sheriff's Department, 50 homes have been evacuated in Bouquet Canyon. The fire has grown to 150 acres. Crews have been able to stop its forward progression, but the fire's just 5% contained this morning.
And these fires are good reminders that you must have a safe and cleared space around your property to prevent fires. It's called hazard reduction clearance. You can even be fined if you do not clear a space. If you're not sure if your property falls within the required area, you can locate it using the lookup tool on the CAL FIRE website. And you can also sign up for disaster alerts from Kern County's emergency services. Just go to readykern.com.
And now to a heartbreaking development out of northwest Bakersfield this morning. A one-year-old child has died after falling into a pool. Around 7:45 last night, Kern County Sheriff's deputies were called to a home on Rosedale Highway near Jewetta. The one-year-old baby was taken to a hospital but did not survive. The baby's identity has not been released. The sheriff's office is investigating.
A crash overnight knocks out power for more than 300 people in northeast Bakersfield. It happened just after 11 o'clock last night near the corner of Mount Vernon and Flower Street, not far from East High School. These are photos from the scene. You can see a pickup truck with damage and a power pole snapped. That's according to the California Highway Patrol website, where they say power lines were down across both lanes of the road. We heard from the driver who told us that he was tired and fell asleep at the wheel. The PG&E website says at one point nearly 400 customers were without power in the area. At last check, power was restored for most homes, with full restoration later this morning.
And now to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic in Kern County. We expect an update from Kern County Public Health today. Here are the numbers as they stand right now. 291 new cases were reported, bringing the total to more than 21,000. Kern County has had 152 deaths since March. More than 6,100 people have recovered from the virus, while more than 15,000 cases are considered active this morning. Right now, more than 260 people are hospitalized with acute symptoms of the virus.
And we are still seeing a backlog of tests despite the federal surge testing site set up at the Kern County Fairgrounds. The site has performed nearly 3,000 coronavirus tests. County officials say the site has been very helpful for testing people who do not show symptoms of COVID-19. The turnaround time for the test results has been 3 to 5 days. Now, this site was set to close on Sunday, but Congressman Kevin McCarthy tells us officials have decided to extend its operation for another 12 days.
Kern Public Health gives us the updated COVID case numbers after labs have sent the results through the state's official database called CalReady. But a glitch in that system has caused many new cases to go unreported. That could be why Kern's case numbers may appear lower than they actually are. Once the glitch is fixed, the numbers could change.
We would likely expect additional cases in the future. They don't know how many, and they don't know when it'll be fixed.
The same issues happening across the state. Meantime, California is providing its assistance to local hospitals struggling with staffing. Constantine says the state has sent medical teams to several local hospitals, including Kern Medical, Delano Regional, Adventist Health Bakersfield, Memorial Hospital, and Mercy.
All right, still ahead this morning here on 17 News at Sunrise, the coronavirus is still causing havoc across the nation. In our next half hour, hear what lawmakers are doing to help people financially impacted by this virus. Plus, what the president is considering this morning.
Welcome back. Your time now is 5:16 on this Friday morning, and the weather is of utmost concern because of all these fires popping up around our area. Kev.
Yeah, we've been kind of lucky the last couple of days with cooler temperatures. We are going to see a little incline as we go throughout the weekend. Taking you outside right now, the Adventist Health Cam, and you can see the Padre Hotel. The sun is still down, but soon the sun will be up for us, and you can see a different angle for looking off to the east. We're sitting at 70 degrees right now in Bakersfield under a calm wind, and as we take a look at the almanac, we should be right around 97 this afternoon. We're not going to be in the upper 90s, so that's good news for us. And the record of 110, that was actually set back in 1905. And you can see temperatures running into the 60s and 70s for you this morning for the valley. Into the mountains, 48 in Pine Mountain Club. Tehachapi at 59, 66 out of Lake Isabella. Here's a look at the satellite and radar, and there's not much to show you, except we will see a little bit of cloud cover along the coastal areas once again today, but the interior part of the state looking sunny and slightly warmer. We're sitting at 63 in Sacramento right now, Fresno at 68. We've got 60s south, 70s for Las Vegas, and we've got 80s out of Phoenix. And take a look at the temperature change. Right now, we're 5 degrees warmer from where we were yesterday at this time. Fresno's up 6 degrees, and we're down 3 degrees in Los Angeles. So you can see how we're going to be a little bit warmer than what we were seeing yesterday with those upper 80s. And here's a look at the overall pattern. We still have that trough to the north, but the ridge is going to build on in here a little bit the next few few days, but it doesn't look like we're going to see a long stint of triple-digit days. So that is some good news for us because we will watch another trough develop out of the north by next week. Here's a look at the daytime highs today. Sacramento at 94, 95 in Fresno, 70s down to the south into LA and San Diego, 103 today in Vegas, and Phoenix at 109. Here's a look at the beach forecast, and I talked about those clouds along the beaches. We're looking at mid-60s today at Pismo Beach, a west-northwest wind right around 5 to 10 miles per hour. And our air quality today going to be moderate with an AQI at 58, pollen 5.5, that puts it in the medium range, and our UV index is still high, so make sure you've got the sunscreen on. Here's a look at today's temperatures. 94 in Bakersfield along with McFarland and Delano, 92 in Taft, so those 80s are out, the 90s are back. Into the mountains today, look for sunny conditions, a west-northwest wind right around 5 to 10. We're looking at 81 in Frazier Park, 82 in Tehachapi, 90s for the Kern River Valley, Lake Isabella at 91. And then as we take a look at the desert forecast today, sunny skies, we're going to see that breeze out of the southwest, 10 to 20. We're looking for a high of 92 in Mojave, and Ridgecrest, the good news for you, still trying to keep you below 100. You're looking at 99. Here's a look at that extended forecast, and you'll see the little warm up coming in tomorrow, 97, 101 for Sunday and Monday, but then we'll bring it down a couple of degrees by next week. So that is good news for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. It means we won't see a heat wave in place. Heat wave number 5 is out, and let's hope we don't see heat wave number 6. As we take a look at the mountain forecast, 87 on Saturday, upper 80s for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, but then back into those mid 80s by next Thursday. And then for the Kern River Valley forecast, mid to upper 90s for the weekend, then we'll level things off by the mid part of next week. So the comfortable 80s that we saw yesterday, out the door.
It felt like early fall. It was so nice.
It was so nice. And I just have to say, good to see you.
I know, right?
It's been a while.
Team's back together.
Yeah.
All right, thanks so much, Kev. All right, well, still to come this morning here on 17 News at Sunrise, an update to a double shooting in Bakersfield.
Now, police now have a man in custody. We'll have that update after this. We're back here at 521. Police have arrested a man suspected in a double homicide earlier this week. That shooting left 2 men dead. It happened Tuesday night on 10th and M Streets. Neither victim has been identified by the coroner yet. Yesterday morning on Sunrise, we told you police were searching for this man, and overnight we learned officers arrested Eric Laval Nichols in Wasco in connection to the murders.
Bakersfield police arrested a man accused of breaking into a home and assaulting an 82-year-old man. Police say on Monday they were called to a home on Panorama Drive just a few blocks away from Bakersfield College. There they found the elderly man with injuries. He told officers a man broke into his home and assaulted him. Police arrested Jeremiah Aguilar. He faces several charges including burglary, elder abuse, and assault.
A former Bakersfield College wrestler has died unexpectedly. Keithan Estrada was just 21 years old. It's unclear how he died. Estrada was a standout with the Renegades for 2 seasons between 2018 and 2019. And Bakersfield College wrestling head coach Brett Clark said in a statement he had a bright future ahead of him, and we're going to miss him. He's survived by his mother, father, 3 siblings, and a niece, according to BC. Estrada's family has set up a GoFundMe account to help pay for funeral expenses. And you can find a link on our website, kget.com.
Absolutely heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's so sad.
Still to come this morning on Sunrise, the president issuing an executive order banning the popular video app TikTok.
Why he says the app is unsafe, plus your chance to weigh in.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Welcome back. Mortgage rates have dropped again, hitting another all-time low. And this is not the first time it's happened this year. According to Freddie Mac, the average interest rate on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage fell to 2.88% this past week. That is the lowest level in nearly 50 years. The 15-year fixed-rate mortgage dropped to 2.44%. Freddie Mac says the low rates should strengthen the real estate market.
Facebook's extending its work-from-home policy until July 2021. The tech giant says that employees will be given $1,000 for home office needs. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg had previously indicated half the company's employees could be working remotely for the next 10 years. This decision follows similar ones from other tech companies amid the coronavirus pandemic. Google has extended its work from home policy until July 2021, and Twitter has said its staff may work remotely indefinitely. President Donald Trump signed an executive order targeting the popular social media app TikTok. This comes after the president threatened a September 15th deadline to close down the app unless it was bought by Microsoft or another U.S. company. Under the executive order, all U.S. companies and people will be prohibited from transacting with ByteDance, TikTok's parent company. In the order, President Trump cites privacy concerns, saying TikTok automatically captures vast swaths of personal information from its users, including internet activity. The order will go into effect in 45 days. And that brings us to our 17 interactive feedback poll this morning. We're asking, should Chinese companies like TikTok be banned in the U.S.? Call or text us at 888-4617. Press 1 if you think it should, and 2 if not. You can also text, tweet, email, or Facebook your comments. Once again, our interactive feedback phone line is 888-4617, and we'll hear some comments and have results coming up.
Coming up in the next half hour on Sunrise, an update on a case of Kern corruption. 2 convicted ex-deputies are accepting charges. Again, we'll explain coming up.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Welcome back. 5:30 on this finally Friday, and we are watching the weather closely. Everyone's concerned because of the weekend, but we're especially curious because our firefighters dealing with these fires, especially the Stagecoach fire, which continues to grow.
Yeah, they've had a couple of nights of rough conditions, but it looks like things could be better. Let's take a look at your forecast now with Kev, who has a look.
Well, we had some good recovery last night. When I say recovery, I mean better temperatures, better humidity values, good dew points, and the winds were fairly calm. So that was good news for firefighters last night. We are going to be a little bit warmer today. Yesterday, our high in Bakersfield, upper 80s with 89 degrees. Let's show you what we've got going on out there right now. We've got clear skies, sun slowly coming up. We've got temperatures right now hovering into the 70s, so 70 degrees for Bakersfield under a calm wind right now. As we take a look at the dog walk forecast, you can see by 8 a.m. 76. We'll warm up into the 90s this afternoon, but then by 5 o'clock we'll be back into the upper 80s. And one thing to note, we're still talking about clear the shelters. I want to show a cute pup, and this is Ella, and a friend of mine, Susan, adopted her last month. She needed somebody at home with her, and so she called her Ella for Cinderella, and she says she's been the best pup that she was able to adopt. And we encourage you to adopt at the City Animal Care Center all month long. Again, it is our Clear the Shelters event, and we're going to be featuring other folks around our community, their pups that they've adopted as well. 59 in Tehachapi right now. We've got a light wind out of the west-northwest at 7, and as we take a look at the hour-by-hour forecast, we're going to be upper 50s by 7 a.m. and then some lower 80s this afternoon. I'll have more weather in just a little bit, but first, back over to you.
Thanks so much, Kev. Recapping our top stories on this Friday morning. As we mentioned, the Stagecoach fire continues to rage in our Kern Mountains in the Caliente area. Kern County Fire says 13 homes have now been lost since the fire started Monday between Havilah and Tehachapi. The fire is up to 7,000 acres and is only 15% contained as of last update. Crews are fighting the Stagecoach fire from the ground and the air.
A 1-year-old child is dead after drowning in a pool. Around 7:45 last night, Kern County Sheriff's deputies were called to a home on Rosedale Highway near Jewetta. The 1-year-old baby was taken to a hospital but did not survive. The baby's identity has not been released, and the sheriff's office says they're still investigating.
Kern Public Health says a technical glitch at the state level is leading to incomplete reports on the COVID-19 numbers in Kern. Here's how they stand this morning. 291 new cases were reported yesterday. Kern has more than 21,000 positive COVID-19 cases since the beginning of the pandemic in March. 152 deaths have also been reported in Kern. More than 6,100 people have recovered. Right now, more than 260 people are hospitalized with acute symptoms of the virus. We expect new numbers from Public Health around 10 a.m. today.
Today's the day Democrats and White House negotiators had hoped to outline the basics of coronavirus relief, but both sides say it's probably not happening.
NBC's Tracy Potts shows us what that means for millions of Americans facing eviction and mounting bills without unemployment checks.
Maddie and Alex, good morning. Good morning, everyone. This means millions of people are in limbo while Washington tries to work this out, and President Trump promises action today. Today's July unemployment numbers are expected to underscore what plenty of Americans already know. America needs a financial bailout. But talks have stalled in Washington. Coronavirus relief in jeopardy.
It's most unfortunate.
We're still a considerable amount apart.
Instead of waiting it out in Washington, some senators have already headed home.
We are willing to do a smaller deal.
When they said a skinny proposal, it was anorexic.
With no deal, President Trump is expected to issue executive orders today to temporarily restore federal unemployment checks, halt evictions, suspend student loan payments, and defer payroll taxes.
An executive order will leave millions of people out. It will be litigated. It won't be effective, and things will get worse.
The president just back from Ohio, where Governor Mike DeWine first tested positive for COVID-19, then negative in the same day. A new forecast predicts 300,000 deaths by December without extreme measures. President Trump turning his focus to Joe Biden.
No religion, no anything. Hurt the Bible, hurt God. He's against God.
With this controversial statement last night, Biden responding that his faith is at the core of who he is. Now back to the money in those negotiations that aren't working out so well right now. Tomorrow, the Paycheck Protection Program is set to expire. That means no new applications for those small business loans, with $130 billion left in the bank unspent. I'm Tracy Potts, 17 News.
We have some breaking news to bring you this morning. The July jobs report is out. Employers added nearly 1.8 million jobs last month, falling short of June's number of 4.8 million. The unemployment rate fell slightly to 10.2% from 11% in June. Economists say this means the nation economy has regained only about 40% of the jobs that were lost when this pandemic intensified in March. Coming up at 6:20, we'll speak with a local economist about what this report means for the future of our economy.
17 Court Watch this morning, a major update to our continued coverage of a drug scandal that rocked Bakersfield police and the sheriff's office 4 years ago. Two convicted ex-deputies are accepting their charges again. Logan August and Derek Penny pleaded no contest to their charges yesterday morning. In 2015, investigators say both men were involved in stealing more than 350 pounds of marijuana from KCSO's evidence lockup to sell back to the street. In 2017, the two men took a plea deal to federal charges, avoiding any prison time. But they were charged again in 2018 after KCSO kept investigating this time. They're pleading no contest to state charges. Sheriff Donnie Youngblood said he hopes the judge does the right thing during this sentencing.
Yeah, it's not our role to sentence people, and in fact, we preach all the time, do your job and walk away and let the courts do what they do. I certainly hope that the judge does the right thing and treats these two officers, former officers, as they should be treated, and give them the appropriate sentence, and I think that that will probably happen, whatever that might be.
According to the district attorney's office, August stole more drugs than he confessed to in 2017 and wasn't caught because Penny falsified reports to cover it up. Logan August now faces upwards of 10 years in prison on state charges. His sentencing is in October.
And we already know how much time his former partner, Derek Penny, will serve. The district attorney announced Penny will serve 90 days in custody and will be placed on probation, though they did not say for how long. When he was first sentenced in 2017, Penny had been given 3 years probation along with August. Both men had faced 5 years in prison.
The two BPD detectives who actually went to prison for this case, Patrick Mara and Damasio Diaz, were released this year. They had faced life in prison for stealing drugs dating back as far as 2012, handing them off to a local businessman, Noel Carter, to resell. They ended up serving less than 5 years in prison. Carter received the longest sentence in this case. He went to prison last year and is not scheduled to be released until 2025. We followed this case from the beginning, and as you can guess, it is very complex. For all of the court documents, announcements, and timeline of arrests, head to kget.com for the full story.